Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 3 of the 3 series on the intercooler piping. Hoping to get everything wrapped up in this last video. Everything except for the bungs. So I still gotta get an 1/8 inch MPT bung for the map sensor, and then I think it's a 1/4 inch bung, 1/4 inch NPT for the intake air temp sensor. So originally I was gonna use the GTR or the newer WRX T-map. But the only option that I have for like a 5-bar is an Omni, and those things always fail from all the research I've done. So I'm gonna go back to just a traditional 5-bar map sensor and then the GM intake air temp sensor. So I gotta get those bungs. I also do need to weld in the flange for the blow-off valve. So I'm gonna get some 3/32 filler rod. I'm gonna use that instead of the 16th inch. Hopefully that'll give me a little bit more uniform bead, especially around the flange and whatnot. So I've got to order that first. Today, I'm looking to get the passenger side intake or intercooler piping done. So a couple of bends there. I have mounted up the intake or the filter on the turbo. Just 3D printed a 4-inch coupler or 4-inch little pipe in there so I could put the filter on. I'll show you guys what that looks like now. So I just 3D printed a little plastic sleeve in there for now, just to get test fitment in there, and it looks good. I've got this kind of knocked out. I've got the coupler down there, so the piping will come out here, and then it'll be a 90 here, and then I'm gonna do 45 to try to snake below the intake, and then we've got another 90 down here that's gonna go right into the intercooler in there. So this is where we're gonna have the filter. It's very close to the ABS module, but we should be okay. If I need to, I guess I could space this out a little bit, but to give this a little bit more clearance here, that, or I could get a different size elbow for that to kind of spread it out or bring it in closer. I was gonna try to run the filter directly off the turbo, but it's actually too high up and hits the hood. So we'll have to go with this. I think that might be okay. We'll see. For now, we're going to go ahead and get the piping right in there. We're going to tape everything up just to verify the fitment, and then we'll pull everything out. We'll get the tack welds in there, test fit it again, and then finish weld everything, kind of like we did on this side. So this side's pretty much all wrapped up. I do need to put the flange for the blow-off valve, which I'm going to put out here, so it's kind of like sitting back here. And then I do need to do the NPT bungs for the pre-map, essentially, so pre-throttle body, so we can get the differential between that and the actual map sensor that's going to go into the back of the head right here. So I've got a 5-bar for that. So I want pre and post throttle body, and then obviously the intake air temp. So let's get this knocked out, sit back, and we'll take it from the top. All right, so I'm thinking I am going to need to put a little bit of a leg on that, so that way this can come out a little bit. Let's start with that. So honestly, this is just a straight piece, so I can tack weld that. All right, so I've got that tacked on, 3 tacks. That came out really nice. So something like that. So it's right behind the headlight. Kind of want this level, so what I want to do is cinch down the turbo so it doesn't move. Oh, I gotta put that downpipe back there just to make sure I got enough room. So let me do that first. close. Try not to get too close to the AC line, so I get heat issues. But I gotta funnel this in here somehow, so. That'll be okay. So we got at least a finger in there, so that's good. Yeah, I think we're okay. Technically, I could get closer to this. Let's see what I can do. All right, got the coupler cut just a little bit, so you can see this edge is shorter. That'll basically allow us to suck it up a little bit more, which is nice. All right, so that looks good. Get this vacuum here. Okay, so that's nice and high and away from the sensor, which is nice. Gives us plenty of clearance. So we can move the turbo back just a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. And then we can, let's tighten that up. Pretty happy with where the turbo is sitting right now. Okay, so that's tight. Away from everything, that looks good. Can actually tighten the turbo itself. Alright, so that's not moving. I can swivel this a little bit. Get us a bit more clearance away from that, which is nice. Issue is the actual piping needs to be bent a little bit. Really don't want to. Ideally, I want to cut this off and snug it as close to this. So I'm going to cut this off here, and then we'll do a 45. So let's do that. Tighten this up. If we need to move this for a little bit more clearance, we can, but we'll leave it here for now. So I'm going to cut this off, and then we're going to put a 45 bend on here. So I'll be right back. All right, so I got that cut and sanded smooth. Like that. Okay, and then the 45 will put on here. Which on this, it's going to be difficult. Let me take this off so I can kind of get where I need this rough measure. A lot of trial and error before you cut. So basically I want this where it's going to give me enough clearance to avoid the frame rail. Something like that. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll cut that, I'll be right back. Alright, so I did get that leg cut. I've got both of these clean, so I can put these in here. Actually, I do need to rinse that out. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's chunks, so give me a second. So we'll get this installed. Pretty close to where we want it, which is going to be like right there. Okay, so something like this. There, and we can lift this up a little bit with our mount here, so that's going to be good. I could probably put something underneath here for now, just to give us some clearance. Something like that, and let's test fit the filter. See how we're looking with that. We're close. I can probably squish it down a little bit. Like that. And then probably swivel it a little bit, but honestly that's not too bad. Yeah, let's swivel it just a little bit. See what that looks like. Yeah, that's good. Like that. So I've got about a finger-ish there, got a finger-ish there, and this shouldn't go anywhere. And then I got a finger gap. Yeah, that looks great. So we'll keep it like that. Let me fish down on the bottom and see where we're working and get that 90 in there. Alright, so we've got our last bend, we've got this in here, we've got our coupler. So technically what we need to do is cut this for length, with a Sharpie. Ideally what we do is we kind of put this where it needs to go, something like that. And then we mark this. And that's it. Well, no, because technically no, it needs to be longer. So that's not right. I want it like that. I guess what I'll do is I'll just cut that distance in half, and we'll just do trial and error until it fits. Just kind of rough the cut. I've got the line there, and I just did half of it. So something like that. Make sure the filter still fits. Cut a good amount off this so I don't have to put so much in there. All right, so just cut a little bit off the leg. That way I don't have to work as much to get it on here. We'll put some lubricant on here so that way it slips in easier. Just like last time, just put a little bit of soap on here. Okay. Yeah, I gotta cut a little bit more off. Just a little bit. So we'll take this out, we'll get it cut, and we'll come back. All right, so just kind of roughing this in. I guess I need some more cut. Okay. It's not far though. It's not bad. Set up. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm good with that. So let's get some tacks on here. I'm gonna make some lines first, just in case. We'll tack it and we'll test it. These are a little bit different thicknesses, so it doesn't fit exactly, which is going to affect how it looks, because the fit up should be pretty much perfect if possible. We'll tack it, we'll test fit it, we'll see what happens. We've got 3 good sized tacks on here. We'll throw this in front of the fan, let it cool down. Actually, I do need to tack this side too, so. Try to get those alignments pretty much spot on. It's melting, but I guess not enough. It's going to affect our fit up, which this is one of the ones that you see. Alright, so we got 3 good tacks on there. There should be all of it. We'll let this cool down. We'll clean everything up. Actually no, we'll test fit it and then we'll clean everything up if it looks good. All right, so we'll go ahead and put this back on. I did rinse it out with water because I put soap in there. So for now, okay. Didn't think of the whole one-piece thing becoming an issue. I think we'll just have to take the filter off to get the pipe installed, but not a big deal. Okay. I think that would be okay. I just gotta trim this area, but other than that, that looks good. Moment of truth. Oh yeah, no problem. I could honestly angle it down and get it away from that even more, which is nice. That looks good. So I'll just trim a little bracket on this like we did last time. Actually, I probably could finish weld all of this and then do the bracket. That looks really good though. Let's take this out, we'll finish weld everything, and then we'll throw it in here after it cools down. We'll wrap up on the bracket and then we're done. Rinse everything out, clean it up, good to go. Golden rule I didn't pay attention to: don't start your weld from the top. Luckily this will be held or hidden underneath the intake manifold, but something we got to be cautious of. Alright, we are on the last seam. So we'll get this welded up. No issue, good for final cool down, and then test installation. Still getting some grounding issues where it won't light off. Not quite sure if anybody is familiar with that issue. I did replace the ground and I did lengthen it to 25 feet. But I made sure all the joints were tight and all the cables are tight, so I'm not sure what's going on. I even went as far as grinding and sanding smooth the bottom of this clamp, so that way when it mates with this table, it's metal on metal. And the grounding strap is actually clamped to the table, so I really don't know what's going on. That's all of it. So we'll let it cool, then we'll test it. All right, so this goes on the turbo, this goes down here. Good, it's good. Yeah, it all looks good. Now obviously I gotta cut this for clearance, but so the easiest way to do this is put the bolt in. Screw it in all the way, and then just measure from the pipe to the center of the bolt. Which is about 20, well, I got it in millimeters, so 20 millimeters. We'll start with a little bit longer on that, and then we will basically sand until we get a perfect fitment on that. Honestly, this is my first fitment on here, and I nailed it. So all I gotta do is tack this on. I'll just flip this over because I didn't get exactly centered on the bolt, so one side's a little bit thicker than the other. That looks perfect. So, a good fitment all the way around. Finger gap on everything. Just go ahead and get this tacked in. We're good. Really hope I can get this knocked out, dialed in really nicely, because this is something you're going to see right from the top. My first dab in today. Dang it. I may just go with that one single tack, take it off. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. We'll address it off the table, or on the table, I mean. Touched it again. Damn it. Alright, so new course of action. I've got a little blob there, so I could probably melt that into the bracket. That'll give me my second tack weld, and then I can start feeding it in. That is not good. It's melted the whole thing. Oh, I can tell you what I didn't do. I didn't prep the metal. So that's probably half my battle right there. That's probably half my battle right there. Alright, let's get this back installed. Make a new bracket. What a pain in the butt. Alright guys, so a little bit of a struggle with that bracket, but we got it. This looks pretty dang good. So that came out really nice on the second attempt. And then you can see I've got good clearance everywhere. Got pretty much a pinky gap here. It's not going to go anywhere, so I don't really need to worry about trimming anything. And then we've got good clearance down there. I will need to clearance this section, just kind of bend it back. Same with this side. When I do final installation, I'm just going to bend it backwards in that middle section. So we should be good, but look at that. Intake piping is done outside of the blow-off valve and the NPT ports. Probably going to put those NPT ports right here, so that way they can get tied into the wiring. And the blow-off valve again is going to go right here. Shouldn't have any clearance issues with that. Overall, pretty happy with how this came out. When I tried to tack weld this bracket the second time, I started to melt the plastic a little bit. Hopefully I didn't cause too much issues there, but when I tried to take the bolt out to stop the melting, it really burnt my finger. So be safe out there guys when you're welding. Honestly, I turned down the amperage a little bit so that way I could try to control the burning on that. And I turned it down just a little too much, so I had to stay on there to get it to melt, which in turn transferred the heat to the plastic intake. Not a huge deal, because it's honestly just part of the mounting section. If I need to, I will replace this intake with another plastic one, but I think we're going to be fine. Again, really happy with how this came out. Just gotta wait. I am going to order the larger 3/32 filler rod, so that way I can do those bungs and the blow-off valve flange. I just think that's going to be easier for me, so gotta wait till I get those in, and I do have to order the bungs. I've got the flange for the blow-off valve, but not the MPT stuff. So when I get those in, we'll get this wrapped up, and then I can transfer over to the exhaust. Honestly, I've got the turbo where I want it to be, so right now could be a really good time to start working on the wiring, get the harness all laid out, and then terminate for the injector dynamics and then all the extra sensors I have. So I may hop onto that as I'm waiting for these parts to arrive, and then once all the wiring's done, we'll just finish up with the downpipe, and then we should be good to go. All right guys, well that's it for the third part of this series, at least for the intercooler piping. Really appreciate you guys showing the support and joining us. As always, please like and subscribe. Could really use the additional support. I've seen a lot of growth in the last couple of days on the channel, so for those of you that have been sharing and commenting, thanks again. We'll catch you next time.